For this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how I put together my castle cake, my princess castle cake. I first put some fondant together that was different color browns to make the door. I made all the side pieces first so I could just get that over with. The tool list is in the description below. You'll see that basically all the molds came from Wilton. You can find them at Michael's Arts and Crafts or even online. And some of the other stuff hasn't come from Wilton, but like I said, the tool list is below, so you can definitely check that out. So I'm making the door out of the wood. This mold actually comes in two different molds. It comes with the wood mold, wood paneling mold, and then it also has the stone mold. I used the stone mold to be the pathway for the whole princess cake. This cake was for a 3-year-old's birthday party, a little girl 3-year-old birthday party, and I wanted to make it, detailed, but not too extravagantly detailed, because it's not a wedding princess castle cake, it's a 3-year-old's birthday castle cake. So like I said, I wanted to add a lot of details to it, but make it very minimum details. You'll see at the end when you see the whole cake. The door was really my favorite part. I like when things look more realistic, and I like the wood effect that this mold gave me. You can make it as elaborate as you want to, or just really cutesy tootsy. I went and made a door handle, swirled it up. It was really cute. I'm gonna tell you, between the whole cake, the door really is my favorite. I guess like I said, I really like things that kind of look a little more realistic. And I also did all of the towers. The towers are made out of paper towel rolls. I went to the dollar store and purchased 7 paper towel rolls, and then I just took all the paper towels off, left them in my kitchen, and then used the paper towel rolls. I would not suggest you using your home paper towel rolls. I would suggest go and purchase some brand new ones at the dollar store. They're just $1. You can use the paper towels at home and then use the rolls for the princess tower, castle, whatever. Also, I noticed when I did this tutorial, they didn't have this at the time at Michael's, but I saw it the other day at Michael's that they actually have the long styrofoam, rounded styrofoam, really thin. It looked like the shape of my paper towel rolls. So next time I do the cake, I may just do that, because it kind of took a little bit to take all the paper towels off the paper towel roll. So yeah, I'll put a link to that if they have it on their website. I'll put a link to that in the description below also, of the styrofoam rounded roll thing. So yeah, I went and made some windows for all the towers. I have different size towers. What you're seeing here, you're just seeing the tall ones, but I also have short ones and then these tall ones here. I didn't want to just put little windows. I wanted to do a window seal. So I went ahead and cut out a straight piece of fondant and put the longer part to kind of stick out more. And then I also did an edge around it to kind of look like brick around the windows. And then towards the end, you'll see that I kind of decorated each window with a little bit of flowers hanging off of it, because you want your princess castle cake to look enchanting and pretty. This was actually the second princess castle cake that I've ever made. The first one was for my niece, and that one was a much more smaller deal back in the day when I was starting out, how to do cakes and understanding them and whatnot and stuff. So that one, yeah, was definitely a smaller cake. This cake is really big and was really heavy. The entire thing, I will say, is not cake. The bottom tier, the majority of the princess castle cake is cake, and then the 2 top tiers, the smaller hexagon, and I believe there's going to be a circle or whatever, those are styrofoam, because they wanted a princess castle cake and they wanted it to be elaborate, but they didn't need that many servings, so I went ahead and added styrofoam. So this is one of the styrofoam tiers here that I'm doing to put the number 3 on. This cutter here, I actually edited out because it didn't show in the video. But this cutter was just a stamp that I used to make this embossing here that I bought from Michael's Arts and Crafts, and then I cut it into a circle. So that's all that was. So along, like I said, with the door, I wanted to kind of add a little few details. So around this centerpiece here, at the end you'll see that I'm going to paint it gold. So around the centerpiece, I just did little swirls with a little bit of fondant. All of the fondant that I'm using has some Tylose in it, so that way it can stiffen faster. Especially the one, all the fondant that's on the styrofoam tiers. I didn't want it to remain soft at all, because those tiers wouldn't be eaten. So you can purchase Tylose, again, at Michael's Arts and Crafts or your local cake store, or even online on Amazon. So if you've missed the beginning of this, I'm putting the tool list in the description below. Even the links to some of the items that you're going to see at the end of this will be the link to the video tutorial for those as well. If you're interested at all in any of my kind of like more elaborate tutorials, I have a website. Again, the link is in the description below, that you can go to and purchase. They range from $12 and below. Some of them are $20. It just really depends on which tutorial you're looking for. That could really help you out to extend your cake decorating skills maybe a little bit further, or just kind of learn something new. Here I'm cutting on her name. That mold was Martha Stewart mold. When Martha Stewart had a collection in Michael's Arts and Crafts, which I really miss, and I really wish I took advantage of her being in there when she was in there, but now she just has like paint. She's just in the paint aisle. She's no longer has her like whole aisle of her own molds and stamps and cutters, which I'm really bummed out about. But yeah, that was the Martha Stewart letter mold, and I'm not sure if they still sell it online, and I know Michael's doesn't sell it, so you might want to just look online to see if they have it. I didn't take advantage of her being in there because her stuff was kind of expensive. Even when you use like the 40% off coupon, I was just like, you know, I have to weigh out my options. Like, is there something I can do by hand, or is there another option I can purchase? Do I really want to purchase this expensive thing? So this is just like one of maybe maybe two of her molds that I purchased. And then when she stopped having her items there and everything was on like super clearance, I purchased a whole bunch of her cutters, like a whole bunch of her stuff. Because the best thing is when stuff goes on clearance, and then you can use like the 20% off coupon that they normally have. So now here are the towers. So like I said, remember I said that how there's like different sizes. So these are the towers, and I'm just adding royal icing. I suggest, if you are adding anything that you want to dry much faster, you need, and it's kind of heavy, because these are actual ice cream cones that I purchased, and I covered it in fondant. I added a little bit of water and I covered the cones in fondant. You know, they're a bit heavy, but I wanted them to stay sturdy on the towers, so I added royal icing. Use royal icing, okay? That's like God's glue to cake decorators. I never knew this at the beginning of my cake life, and now I live by it anytime that's something heavy that I need to have it sturdy. So this cutter here, I actually got at a local cake decorating store when I lived in Florida. It's just an edger. You can find all different types of edgers online and in your local cake stores also. Like I said, you can use any one, or you can just cut out your own swirls yourself. You don't have to use this specific one. They normally come in like a pack of 4 or a pack of 3, and it's really inexpensive. It's like $7 and below. If you look on Amazon for like fondant edger cutters, yeah, so they're really inexpensive. The edger went all the way around on all the tiers: the real cake bottom tier, this middle tier, and the hexagon top tier. Put them all the way around, just using water as adhesive. The main things that I use as adhesive or as glue is water, and then also the royal icing on this cake. Those are the 2 things that I've used so far. Well, the only 2 things actually I've used the whole time. I also cut out some of this edger strips also to put on the towers to kind of hide the seams. And that's what's so great about doing a princess castle cake, is the more elaborate embellishments you put on it, the more you can hide whatever seams or mistakes you've made. I think if there was anything that I would do over with this cake, I would have maybe either made the bottom tier a little more larger or the second tier, that brown tier back there, a little more smaller, only because when I went to go put on the smaller towers on the side, they kind of didn't fit to perfection. So that's probably the only thing I would change about it. I wouldn't add any more detail. I actually love all the detail I did add to this. It made the cake look very clean, very perfect and princessy and pretty. So I really liked all the detail I added to it. But I think, yeah, definitely you always want to measure out the width or diameter of your tower rounds to where you're going to be putting them. Because when I put them on the top of my bottom tier, like I said, there was not enough edge there for it to fit on. So I kind of had to maneuver it and push it in a little bit more. I added the door and I added the walking path there. That's the one I was referencing at the beginning of the video when I said it was the stone mold that came with it. So yeah, that's the one I was referencing. I added that, just using a little bit of water, and now I'm using some royal icing to add the next tier to the top of the bottom tiers. And again, some more royal icing to put all the towers together. I made sure I put them on the bottom and put it on the side of the cake so it can attach, because I wasn't delivering this cake, and if I was, this is something I would have done on location, but this person didn't pay for delivery. They were going to pick up, so that made me nervous. That was another reason I used royal icing, because I was like, I live in Georgia. There's a lot of hills. There's mountains around here. These people are going to be up and down, and I need to make sure that this stays together and doesn't, like, you know, shift or break down, because the party was actually really far and I wouldn't be able to get out there to help them out to fix it. I'm adding some Dragees just to add a little details, because there's going to be some things that are going to be painted gold, so I wanted to make sure I added little tiny details of gold around the scalloped edges of the towers. Dragees, you can purchase those in your local cake store, again, Amazon, and Michael sells like colorful Dragees. They don't sell the gold ones though, and I am not sure if they sell like a real metallic silver, but I think they serve kind of like a matted gray, and like black, white, red, blues, and stuff like that. What Dragees are just little circle, like edible balls that you can eat. Kind of, they're a little hard to chew on, but they're edible. And now I'm just adding really tiny flowers that I cut out and painting with some luster dust, some gold luster metallic dust, all on the number 3 centerpiece. And you'll also see me at the end going back and adding like the little flags that I put on toothpicks and painted gold. And I did those at the beginning before I even did the cake. I created those because I needed that flag to dry so it wouldn't be all droopy and wavy and falling off when I wanted to add it. I find it so much more easier to do all the little pieces before you even like start creating your cake, or like, you know, I bake my cake and then while my cake is baking or cooling or whatever, I do all the other small details just so I can make sure I have that all done. And then when I put the cake together, all I have to do is just add all these details I've already made. So that's just a little tip that I've learned that makes it go much more faster. Because if I would have sat here and had to cut out every piece this whole time, sitting here looking at the cake would have been sitting, you know, with the buttercream on it and not been as fresh as it was. So it took me, in a total number of hours, I would say it probably took me, with baking time, a total of 10 hours to put everything together. You can see here where I'm about to add the tower, how it kind of smushed down on that scallop edge on the bottom tier. That's when I was like, oh, it doesn't really fit as much. And I tried to like maybe pin it together. So I had to just kind of like squeeze it and maneuver it together just to attach it there. But at the end it attached, and it was a little wonky, but I was pretty happy with it still. I wasn't too concerned about it because I knew it wasn't going to fall off, and it still gave the same effect I was looking for. And now you'll see me move really, really fast just to add all the details to everything. I'm using the royal icing to kind of cover up any dents or like little holes in any of the white fondant. And then I'm just adding all the details, adding some more bricks, adding the very top tower, adding all the flags. See how cute my flags are? There is another thing I probably would change. I would have probably changed the flags and made them a little more wavier. I probably would have only done that actually if I delivered the cake myself. You know, there's some things that you just have to alter when a customer's coming to pick up, especially a cake this tall. You want to minimize as much detail because who knows when they pick up this cake what's going to happen before they even get there along the drive. So, but if I was to deliver the cake, I think I would have made the flags a little more wavier and more pointier on the ends of them. I'm adding some fondant around the edges of the tower to kind of hide the seam. And then you'll start seeing me add like little rectangles all around the cake to look like brick. I didn't want the whole cake to be brick, just, you know, just so it can you can kind of see that it's brick. This is a crown that I made out of fondant, and I added a lot of tie-lows to it so it can stiffen. You'll see the link in the description below of the crown tiara tutorial, and also another link in the bio, in the description for the little princess there that I also made. So there's two separate videos for them because it would have been much more longer if I added it to all this. So I think the crown was like a perfect little touch for it. It really made the castle look a little more enchanting. This mold for this crown is a Wilton mold. So you don't have to like go find anything super expensive or special. It's a Wilton mold. I think some stores still sell it, or you might have to go check online. Other than that, I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you learned or even saw something you actually like that you would want to use in your own castle cakes. If you have any questions, please by all means ask them down below in the comments. If you like this tutorial, can you give me a thumbs up please? If you didn't, just don't touch the thumbs down. No bueno, no touchy, don't touch it. Other than that, I really appreciate all of you and have a beautiful day. Hey, thanks for watching. You can shop more of my exclusive tutorials at www.morecakeym.com. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to my channel for more badass edible art.